Transcendental meditation can emancipate the man and leave you feeling grand. Well, hi, I'm Evan Davis, and I hope you add some music to your day.
Add some music, just add some music right there.
Transcendental meditation is a subset of typical meditation practices which focus on the use of mantras, a silently spoken word or phrase. The practice was originated by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and became popular through the 1960s and 70s as it was adopted by celebrities, including some of the Beach Boys, especially Mike Love. Transcendental meditation, otherwise called TM, is taught by instructors over about 7 courses of various fees, who indicate that one should meditate twice a day for 15 to 20 minutes. Intended benefits include reduction of stress, overall relaxation, and quote-unquote self-development. While independent studies have not demonstrated any more benefits of transcendental meditation compared to other traditional forms of meditation, apparently not meditating can lead to this famous outburst from Mike Love.
I know Mick Jagger won't be here tonight. He's gonna have to stay in England. But I'd like to see us in the Coliseum and he in Wembley Stadium because he's always been chicken shit to get on stage with the Beach Boys.
Now, if TM can spare me from making a fool out of myself in front of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, why not give it a shot? See, I'm a huge fan of the Beach Boys, and with this passion, I've listened to their music nearly non-stop since 2018. And in this time, I've noticed a couple different patterns and common themes that show up in their music, including several references to transcendental meditation. You see, the Beach Boys are a fascinating group because they're essentially the Beatles of American music. From 1962 to 1966, the Beach Boys released 11 albums in the span of just 4 years, pumping out hit record after hit record and great single after great single. Despite the ongoing British invasion, particularly, of course, the dominance of the Beatles on the American charts. And, amongst these albums they put out, there was Pet Sounds, and this record is often heralded as the most critically acclaimed album of all time, and it's certainly one that changed music history. Now, why is this important, and what does it have to do with transcendental meditation? We see Pet Sounds marks this very apparent divide in the Beach Boys canon. After Pet Sounds, Brian Wilson, who was the primary member of the band, the lead composer, of course the genius of the band, right? He failed to deliver a follow-up record, which was going to be called Smile, which was essentially an album of differently modularly recorded tracks in the style of Good Vibrations, an entire album of Good Vibrations. And Smile has its own weird history of its own, very rooted in Americana, Western themes. It was going to be a comedy album for a while. It explores the elements. Very strange story, very interesting. Ultimately, actually concluded in the early 2000s by Brian. After the album's collapse, the band was going through a period of lost identity. Pet Sounds was certainly unlike any other record put out by the Beach Boys, save for hints of the work to come in their previous albums, The Beach Boys Today and Summer Days and Summer Nights. Part of this identity crisis included the Beach Boys becoming involved with transcendental meditation in response to the growing counterculture of the 1960s. TM ultimately came out of vogue after the Beatles stopped practicing, allegedly after the trip in which Mike Love helped the Beatles to write back in the USSR, at least according to Mike Love. Love Mike Love. During this period, the Beach Boys' rejection from the mainstream and Brian's absence following mental health issues which were exacerbated by drug use, other members of the band needed to step up and get more involved with writing, composing, and overall just contributing to the albums. And to me, I can really start to feel this shift in their discography in 1968's Friends, which also has one of the best covers of all Beach Boy albums. Friends, coincidentally, is also where spiritualism and transcendental meditation become apparent in their music. You see, first, the record includes a track entitled Anna Lee the Healer, which details Anna Lee, a healer with healing hands, who makes you well as quick as you can as she travels from the Himalayan mountainside of Rishikesh to the California beach house facing toward the sea. Rishikesh is a city in India nicknamed the yoga capital of the world, and it marks the Beach Boys' first concrete reference to Eastern spirituality within their lyrics. The album also ends with a song directly entitled Transcendental Meditation, and with its blaring horns and croons of, "Oh, it's good!" makes the practice sound much less calming than one would expect. Spiritualism and TM did not return to the Beach Boys catalog until 1972's Carl and the Passions So Tough, another transitionary record as the band hired 2 musicians from South Africa, Ricky Fataar and Blondie Chaplin, but only temporarily as they only stayed around for 2 albums. Off of Carl and the Passion So Tough, He Comes Down makes many references to transcendental meditation, including naming Maharishi directly, who is, of course, the main teacher of the practice. And he's mentioned in the same verses Jesus Christ. Additional references include a translation of certain Sanskrit mantras, Krishna, and the verse, Guru Dev's wisdom is just the thing to save mankind from all this suffering. Maharishi gives a list to every man's Bible, bringing us the news of the new revival. And Guru Dev, of course, being the teacher of Maharishi. And as an aside, it's a pretty great gospel song and a surprisingly early entry into Christian rock, although I would know very little of the genre. All This Is That is a song about both transcendental meditation and Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. The lyrics state, two ways both I have traveled by, and that makes all the difference to me. The song's lyrics also directly touch on elements of Eastern spirituality, and the closing of the track features this beautiful vocal harmony, highlighted by Carl Wilson hitting these incredibly high notes on the phrase Jai Guru Dev. Jai Guru Dev being a mantra, the main mantra of transcendental meditation. And the phrase is thought to have many different translations depending on what source you're looking at, but most of them tend to be variants on victory to the big mind or hail the divine teacher, in this case meaning Maharishi's mentor, Guru Dev. In the same year of Carl and the Passion So Tough, 1972, jazz musician Charles Lloyd released an album called Waves, which featured an opening track titled TM. This track features a lot of background vocals and instrumentation by the Beach Boys. The song references the mantra Jai Guru Dev, but its lyrics otherwise aren't too interesting. Finally, in the Beach Boys' main catalog, the A-side to 1976's 15 Big Ones concludes with TM Song, in which the mantra given by Maharishi takes the speaker away, as he invites you to try transcendental meditation. It should be a part of your time. It's just as simple and easy as making this rhyme. Oddly enough, the song also starts with this very strange skit. I'm in the driveway, you keep out of it, you get off my lawn. And, that's honestly getting me a little worked up, just kind of shouting in the room. And with that, I guess, it's time for me to meditate.
TM, 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 TM,
Honestly, that was a lot nicer than I expected it to be. Personally, I tend to be a pretty low-stress guy. Don't worry about things too much. Don't really feel the panic, the anxiety. But, there were moments in those, 15 minutes where I definitely drifted away. But there's this really odd, intuitive aspect to it, and that meditation sort of requires you to constantly focus on your breathing. And it was the moments, especially when I subconsciously thought to myself, oh, I need to exhale now, that really broke me from the spell of it, and especially having to say the Jai Guru Dev on occasion. That also took me out of it, because I'm consciously remembering to say the thing, do the thing, but the points where I kind of just stopped and just, exhaled, whatever, and over time, there would just be like a couple seconds here and there where you're gone, you jolt back real quick. And it's very interesting, especially, this being like the first and sort of only time I've really done this. So, will I keep doing it? Perhaps. I'm not very much in the target audience for it. But I definitely would think it has its benefits. Scientifically, the people that do get into meditation, they do have some benefits from it. So, of course, there's something here, right? And it just may not be for everyone. And of course, transcendental meditation isn't very different than regular meditation either, except for you're saying something. So, regular meditation might be the way to go, especially that way, it's much easier to describe other than giving your friends a history lecture on the Beach Boys. Another thing that really took me out of it, of course, is I live in a, busy area, and so there's not only the sounds of a lot of animals, but it's windy, there's cars driving by, there's, kids outdoors playing. So it's a little distracting. So again, maybe in the future, trying indoors might yield a better result. But With that, please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're interested to see where I go from here, what other projects I take on. Ring the bell if you want to be updated. Like if you enjoyed the video. Comment, tell me, have you ever tried meditating? Would you like to pick up meditation? And with that, please add some music to your day.
I love to see you. I love to see you. Don't love your wronging nights. Don't slay those wrongs.